I am proud to announce the City of Indianapolis has been awarded the 2022 College Football Playoff National Championship game.
Well, it was a big announcement for a city that has made its mark, hosting big-time sporting events. Indy's biggest score since the 2012 Super Bowl, the city selected to host the 2022 College Football Playoff National Championship game at Lucas Oil Stadium. It's a crown jewel event and 4 days of activities expected to generate economic impact in excess of $150 million. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. It was not a bid process. Indy was selected and given an invitation to host the 2022 game. And for more now on the surprise phone call and what it all means, I'm pleased to be joined by Indiana Sports Corporation President Ryan Vaughn and Visit Indy President and CEO Leonard Hoops. And as always, gentlemen, welcome to the program.
I'm glad to be here.
Ryan, I'll start with you. Give us a clue as to the impact, not only financially, economically, but in terms of exposure from this event, because you've really been focused on this for the last several years.
Yeah, you know, the game itself already has an economic impact of $150 million in the places that it's been, and 5 years from now we expect that to grow substantially. What that will feel like in our community, you know, hotels will be full, restaurants will be packed, Georgia Street will be populated. You know, both venues will be activated. Lucas Oil Stadium will have some media at Bankers Life. You know, we expect to credential literally thousands of media from around the world to cover the event. So it's really an extraordinary opportunity to put Indianapolis on a global showcase.
Yeah, Leonard, talk about, I said it was a surprise phone call. What is that total surprise, right? What the reaction once the organization called and said they want to pick Indy to host this game?
Yeah, well, Sports Corp had been looking at this for a couple of years along with Visit Indy, and we had heard some rumblings that they might be changing the process specifically for this kind of event. Rather than having it be a bid among multiple cities for multiple years, they were looking really at how do we do 10 cities in 10 years, and they had 4 more years to go in that first decade. And so we were very pleasantly, I wouldn't say totally surprised, because we feel very good about what we offer, that Indianapolis was one of the 4 cities they wanted to come after.
Is there the need for added infrastructure, new hotels, or any additional things as part of this game? Anything
we add between now and 2022 will kind of be the icing on the cake, because everything we put in the bid was based on what we have today. So we've got the infrastructure in place to host this game exceptionally well, the same sort of infrastructure we had for the Super Bowl.
I want to ask you about what Ryan touched on. That's the exposure from this event. What does it mean to convention business and other economic related things outside of the game?
I'm absolutely convinced that Indy would not be USA Today's #1 convention city if not for the sports strategy we started 40 years ago. The exposure of the events we've consistently gotten have put us on the map as a convention city, and it continues to help us grow our business.
Ryan, is it track record? What do you think Indianapolis got that call and said, hey, we want you to host the game?
Yeah, certainly track record's a big part of it. I mean, we've played host to over 450 international and national sporting events in the last 40 years, as Leonard mentioned. But, you know, kudos really to you know, the forefathers who started this strategy 40 years ago and were intentional not only about focusing on sports, but really building the city infrastructure to accommodate large events, whether they be sporting or convention. Yeah,
we're showing some video right now of the Super Bowl from 2012. What an incredible event that was. Indy put its flair on that event with the whole Super Bowl village. Can we expect Indy flair to be part of the game in 2022?
Yeah, I think the great thing about this opportunity is that, you know, we've got more lead time to sort of plan and invest and really make this a community event than we had for the Super Bowl. Yeah. So, you know, 5 years from now, gives us a great opportunity to really engage the community, figure out how best to celebrate this opportunity, and really looking forward to that process.
I want to ask you both about a big challenge will be volunteers. Indianapolis known for its volunteer army, if you will. How many volunteers will you need?
Thousands. You know, certainly an event this size requires a pretty massive commitment on the part of the community, and you know, pleased to share with you, you know, right after the announcement, we had over 500 people register to volunteer right away. So the community is certainly excited about it. The recruiting effort will continue, but I know that we'll rise to the challenge.
Yeah, Leonard, you see this as a recruiting opportunity too when you talk about conventions and big convention business. Indy's hosted a Super Bowl. A game like this gives you just one more thing in your arsenal, I guess, for sales.
It started over a century ago with the Indy 500. I mean, that's the world's largest single-day sporting event, and we built on that for decades and upon decades. And I don't think you would see Salesforce, one of the biggest tech companies in the world, in our tallest building, or the kinds of cultural events and activities you can do in Indianapolis today for our residents without this kind of strategy behind it.
All right, and we mentioned volunteers. Ryan, there is a website, right, if folks want to volunteer for the 2022 game.
Yeah, if you want to volunteer or learn more information, just go to www.wherechampionsarecrowned.com.
Okay, two key players in what was a major announcement this week and will be a big game in several years down the road. Ryan Vaughn from the Indiana Sports Corporation, Leonard Hoops from Visit Indy. Thank you both.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
talk to
you.
soon.